Do you see any scenario by which Harry and Meghan overshadow Kate and
Oh,
William?
yes, I do. I do. I mean, this is immediately was my first thought. You know, this could be a problem. You know, this could be a problem.
I did not get a response to the letter that I sent May 23rd.
So, Ranking Member Waters, first of all, let me thank you for your service to California. Being a resident of California, I appreciate everything that
Thank
you've
you very
done
much.
for the community there.
I don't want to take my time up for how
I
great
also
I
have
am.
appreciated the opportunity to meet with
Reclaiming
you
my time.
several times
Reclaiming my
when
time.
we were doing our
Reclaiming my time.
The time belongs to the gentlelady from California.
I don't want to waste my time on me. I want to know about the May 23rd letter. You know about it? Why did you not respond to me and my colleagues?
I was going to answer that.
Just please go straight to the
And
answer.
Mr. Chairman, I thought when you read the rules, you acknowledged that I shouldn't be interrupted and that I would have
Reclaiming
the
my
opportunity.
time. What he failed to tell you was when you're on my time, I can reclaim it.
LOL, how ha January 10, suddenly 8th. The way they wanna link the royal BS and Harry's memoir. Okay, what are they saying now? Harry delayed his bombshell book in the wake of the Queen's death. Okay, so this is sort of, they said January 8th. I see they said January 10. Oh, they were close though, 2 days before. It was thought that publication could even put off until after the coronation in May, but last night industry executives told the New York Times that the book will be published on January 10. It will mark the 3-year anniversary of Harry and Meghan's official exit from the royal family on January 8th. LOL. Last month, the Sun told her the prince tried to make last-minute changes after his grandmother died. I mean, the book already written. I think I comment on this. I think what I was saying, Harry probably already handed over probably for, how do you call this, editor or proofreaders? How do they call these people? All right? Because no matter how good of a writer you are, I know I'm not a good writer for sure. All right? I'm not trying to make as if I'm an expert on this. All right? No matter how good of a writer you are, you always need a second eye, someone else to read it to make sure what you wrote is what you mean, okay? Or they could see a different perspective of how you could probably word it, okay? If something might be offensive, okay, through your own experience, you could say this is the way you wrote it, but it might be somewhat of it. From my understanding, no matter who you are, how good of a writer you are, you need someone to proofread your writing, because sometimes the way you think, your thinking is faster than the way you type. Okay, you might be thinking a whole bunch of stuff, but you think you're typing what you're thinking, you're missing a lot of things in between. So sometimes you need proofreaders. Okay, sources say he feared PYTE will be deemed insensitive so soon after the Queen's death and his dad Charles taking the throne. I don't know. How did they get all of that? Harry and Meghan don't talk about that things. Okay, so Harry's memoir is set for January 10, but will his Netflix docuseries with Meghan planned for December also be delayed for a month as the couple are attempting to make changes? How do they know all of that? How do they know all of that? There's changes that, I mean, no matter what works that you're doing, the way these two work, Harry and Meghan, to make things so, perfectly, for us to see the final product, I'm pretty sure there's always editing going on to make sure it is to the perfect way that they could deliver the project. But how do they know? Because they know this is possible. It is in every industry. They have to make changes on certain things and all of that. So they just throwing hot air out there. All right, let's continue. There's a receipt. Okay, breaking news. Harry's book release. All right, show the thread. Prince Harry bombshell memoir will be released on January 10th. Publishing industry insider reveal as Harry battle to water down the content after the death of the Queen. They don't know shit. They're just nonsense. When was that? 26. That was a couple of days ago. So they must have known something. Maybe someone from, I don't know. They probably didn't tell them anything, but they know something was going on. There's this thing here. Well, let's see. Yeah, I read everything. Okay, at Family Law Guru UK, thank you for talking up for Harry and Meghan when you can see the Angela Devine was fuming that for defended Meghan. Let's see here, when they were forced to leave. Okay, for them having Netflix camera crew on Windsor Walkabout. I wish they could sue that foolish man spreading lies. Let's see here. Oh, that's 2 minutes. Oh, there's more. Okay, let's see this. 2 minutes and 5 seconds. I will have to stop in between.
Harry, Andrew, I think we need to leave to one side.
So we can park the Duke of York.
I think we can all leave to one side,
Yeah.
Andrew. But in terms of Harry, and I don't want to question Rupert, but I think actually we're missing Beatrice off the list. So
Yes.
it would have been the Queen Consort, it would have been William, it would have been Andrew, it would have been Harry and Beatrice. So that's who we have at the moment. And in terms of those stepping forward, stepping in for the King when necessary, what's the reality? The reality is William's going to do it. The reality is Beatrice could do it. The reality is, if we're looking for a change, let's extend. Let's include Princess Anne. Of course she should be. Let's include Edward. Of course he should be. And Sophie Wessex. Of course they should be. What I'm saying is, why exclude? Particularly when we have a king in his very first speech saying about his love for Harry and Meghan. And yes, they are having a new life. But remember, this wasn't about resigning. It was about constructive dismissal. He was forced to leave. And that's very different.
He wasn't forced to leave. He left because he wanted to.
Oh my God! Is this woman living in a different universe?
The decision that I have made for my wife and I to step back is not one I made lightly. It was so many months of talks after so many years of challenges.
He wasn't forced to leave. He left because he wanted to.
It was so many months of talks after so many years of challenges.
He wasn't forced to leave. He left because he wanted to.
After so many years of challenges. And I know I haven't always gotten it right, but as far as this goes, there really was no other option.
He wasn't forced to leave. He left because he wanted to.
There really was no other option.
He wasn't forced to leave. He left because he wanted to.
The decision that I have made for my wife and I to step back is not one I made lightly. It was so many months of talks after so many years of challenges. And I know I haven't always gotten it right, but as far as this goes, there really was no other option.
He was forced to leave. I have that clip where he was saying after many months and trying to make deal with the family, everything that he said is no, no, no. So he had to leave. At some point, he needs to make his life. He was forced to leave, okay, with my accent. He was forced to leave the firm. They were willing to do the work. And then her in particular, that woman next, not the black lady, that woman, what's her name? Levine, okay, was part of the problem. Okay, the mouthpiece of the royal family.
Much of the negativity towards the couple is coming from within the royal family. The royal family and staff of the royal family are the ones that are very often leaking these stories to the press.
Talking nonsense after nonsense. Yes, Harry and Meghan were forced to leave because they will not accept Meghan. Oh my God, there's one video that was out there. I didn't share it. Those racist people. Oh my God. I decided not to share it because it was just too much. All right, let me move it back slightly. And at the beginning, that lady was saying, let's leave Prince Andrew out of that category. Because I don't know why the UK is putting Harry and Andrew in the same category. As if they've done the same kind of misbehavior.
I think it should make him look at his character and look at how he's behaved for sure. I don't think he'll be worried at all, no.
But what I remind him is that no matter what you want to be when you grow up, it's your character that matters most. It's your character that matters most.
When in fact, it's the whole freaking country, in terms of the media, who were bashing Harry. Yet, they're glorifying a pedophile. Can you imagine that? A pedophile. Someone who said they never met that woman that they had sex with. went on national television, lied to his teeth, saying he never met that woman, but yet he paid that woman several $1 million, a pound. Okay, let me move. Did I move it back already? Yes, I did. Let's listen to.
And Meghan was desperate to leave.
What?
If you're not a working royal...
Desperate to leave? Harry said that was his choice.
The decision that I have made for my wife and I...
And Meghan was desperate to leave.
The decision that I have made for my wife and I to step back is not one I made lightly. One I made lightly.
And Meghan was desperate to leave.
The decision that I have made for my wife and I to step back is not one I made lightly.
And Meghan was desperate to leave.
Perhaps you could just give us an idea of what the last year's been like. Perhaps you could just give us an idea of what the last year's been like.
And Meghan was desperate to leave.
Do you see any scenario by which Harry and Meghan overshadow Kate and
Oh,
William?
yes, I do. I do. I mean, this is immediately was my first thought. You know, this could be a problem.
Perhaps you could just give us an idea of what the last year's been like.
And Meghan was desperate to leave.
Why couldn't they have done this in a way that was a little more deliberate and, in some minds, maybe more respectful?
They had no choice other than to leave because they both knew that it wasn't going to continue should they just carry on as they were.
And Meghan was desperate to leave.
We've had a series of ups and downs with the couple. We only need to look back in those very early days of Harry's relationship with Meghan around November 2016 when he issued that statement lambasting sections of the media for racist and misogynistic reporting.
The harsh British tabloids, he says, were largely to blame for Prince Harry's frustrations and ultimate desire to leave royal life. And race, he says, was no small factor, with jabs often aimed at Harry's biracial wife.
And Meghan was desperate to leave.
Do you boil this down to a racial issue, or was it really more complicated than that?
In terms of ticking those boxes that may ruffle feathers within an ancient institution such as that of the monarchy, she had really ticked all of them. The race did play a role. I myself have also had moments as a biracial royal correspondent within the institution. I'll never forget the moment an aide or a senior aide close to the Queen said to me, "I never would have expected you to speak like that." And it's that level of ignorance, I think, that perhaps made it very difficult for Meghan.
And Meghan was desperate to leave.
Being a newcomer and knowing that Kate was once a newcomer, I think there are times where she, from speaking to sources, knew that Meghan felt that she could have or needed a little bit more support from Kate and didn't get it in some of those important moments.
Perhaps you could just give us an idea of what the last year's been like.
And Meghan was desperate to leave.
I'm so thankful that they are finally acknowledging the experience. But on the other side, I know that the family and the staff were well aware of the extent of it. And though their recollections may vary, ours don't, because we lived through it with them.
And Meghan was desperate to leave.
I don't know who knew. I know that the family and the staff knew.
And Meghan was desperate to leave.
I have known her for 17 years, and I have seen the way that she regards the people around her and the people she works with, and I can say she's not a bully. But I can also say that I am personally glad that people are doing their due diligence, because I also know why someone had to leave, and it was for gross misconduct.
Perhaps you could just give us an idea of what the last year's been like.
And Meghan was desperate to leave.
Perhaps you could just give us an idea of what the last year's been like. I guess that's a where would you start question, but give it a go.
It's hard. You know, I don't think anybody could understand that. But in all fairness, I had no idea.
And Meghan was desperate to leave.
It's not enough to just survive something, right? Like, that's not the point of life. You've got to thrive. You've got to feel happy. And I think I really tried to adopt this British sensibility of a stiff upper lip.
It has its, it has its advantages, I guess.
I really tried. But I think that what that does internally is probably really damaging. And The biggest thing that I know is that I never thought that this would be easy, but I thought it would be fair.
If you want to be private, go back to America and live privately. It's pretty straightforward.
And then the amount of abuse they put this woman, desperate to leave. She had to leave because you guys were forcing her to leave. Oh my God, the people over there are crazy.
Forced to leave, and that's very different.
He wasn't forced to leave. He left because he wanted to, and Meghan was desperate to leave. But I think if you're not a working royal, you can't take this on. It's as simple as that. He's not a working royal. It doesn't matter what he's done and what he's doing now. He's not a working royal, so he can't do it.
I mean, I think that's the issue that people would say, isn't it, Paula? We get so engrossed in this whole Harry and Meghan thing. The fact of the matter is, and tell me if I'm wrong, they chose to walk away from a role, a public royal role. And actually I remember at the time thinking, okay, fair enough. If you don't want to do that, if you look at what's happened to your mother and you're in love with your wife and you want to go off to California. But I think the problem, Paula, has been from almost day one.
Do you see any scenario by which Harry and Meghan overshadow Kate and
Oh, yes, I do.
But I think the problem, Paula, has been from almost day one.
I do. I mean, this is immediately was my first thought. You know, this could be a problem.
But I think the problem, Paula, has been from almost day one. It's a bit of, you want to make that decision and then you sell your soul to Spotify and Netflix. I'm sorry, that's an absolute fact. You come back for the funeral, you bring your camera crew with you. And I know that because I live on the long walk. I absolutely can tell you that's true.
I know they keep on saying that, but did they? Did they do that? I didn't come across anything. Well, we'll see when that thing come out.
I mean, either you're in or you're out.
Well, they didn't want them to make any part of this, so they left. So why are they trying to, I mean, at this point, have you already told them, leave me out of all of your nonsense? I don't know. Wow. Let's see here. There's 1 minute and 55 seconds.
Because, number one, as I said, this wasn't a choice. And I think you said, Angela, have just said it. She was desperate. She was in a position where she found herself, and her husband found herself in a position that was mimicking what happened to his mother. That's what they thought was
thank
happening.
you. No. Yes.
And that terrified him.
Oh, no.
And that's why they had to leave. They were desperate.
Thank you for...
to leave. Who wants to leave the bosom of their loving family?
Because they
Who wants
couldn't
to leave
control it. They
their
wanted
country?
they wanted to be to control it. Meghan has said that when she got to the royal family, she thought that they would welcome all her modern ideas.
She didn't say that.
She did nothing about it.
She didn't say that. She thought they would be fair.
The biggest thing that I know is that I never thought that this would be easy, but I thought it would be fair. But I thought it would be fair. But I thought it would be fair.
Fair with her. For instance, if Meghan were to do something, okay, you don't like the way Meghan is doing, go straight to her and tell her, look, this is not the way we do that. This is the way we do it. Okay? So she will follow the new rule. Who the hell? Anybody who goes move on to another country to think that they're gonna impose their own personal views and to think. Will do that. Meghan wasn't a bad. She said she tried.
I really tried to adopt this British sensibility of a stiff upper lip.
It has its, advantages, I guess.
I really tried.
Every time they tell her one thing, the goalposts move to another thing. It's not what. When is she gonna finally get to know what is their blueprint? Every time she does something, they tell her, no, it's not the way they do it. Okay, she do it the way they told her, then they move it and tell her something else. Who the hell can put up with this nonsense? Okay, this is why she said she thought they will be fair.
But I thought it would be fair.
They were not fair with her. till now they keep on saying nonsense that she never said. Who the hell have the right? An institution. Pretty much the firm, Harry's family, is part of the freaking rule of law in the UK. Who the hell is Meghan is to think that she will control the firm? Wow, they're really making Meghan so powerful. Now because Meghan cannot, the firm cannot do what Meghan said, it's like the role was supposed to reverse. Meghan never said that. If she did, you guys need to correct me. The only thing that I know is that she said she thought they would be fair. They were never fair with her from day one. They even went out of their way, get people to lie about her.
I do. I mean, this is immediately was my first thought. You know, this could be a problem.
No, we can rely on you for being a great guy. What an incredible friend you were to Meghan Markle is. Have you guys hung out at all since then?
No, we haven't spoken. She just wrote me a very nice thank you letter, and I framed it, and that was very nice of her to do. She just appreciated that I was honest, but it's so funny that we live in a time where everyone's like, it's such a big deal. I just did the right thing. Right. You know, it's okay to feel like that should be the norm and the status quo, but it's like, whoa, it's so crazy. He told the truth. I think we should all be a little more honest.
Well, thank you for doing the right thing.
They were never fair with her from day one. They even went out of their way, get people to lie about her.
I do. I mean, this is immediately was my first thought. You know, this could be a problem.
I was called by the Sun newspaper. If you don't know what the Sun is, it's sort of
got the topless girl on page 3. That's all you need to know.
And they called me about a month ago to ask if I'd write about how Meghan was like Wallace and how Meghan was going to destroy the royal family and the arguments between Meghan and Kate. And I said, I'm really sorry, I'm just not privy to all of this. I don't think I could do it. And the commissioning editor was really twisting my arm to write this article and say, but you could say, couldn't you, that X happened, and you could say that she's fired all her staff, and you could say that Kate has said this. And I said, well, I'm really sorry, I don't know that, I can't do it. And this conversation went on for about half an hour, and I didn't write the article, but it just gives you an insight into how this whole thing is being, you know, the flames are being fanned by the media,
Okay, pay people to lie about her, they didn't take the money. Okay, from day one, these people were not in good terms with Meghan. Okay, and her herself, that lady, the white lady, is part of the problem. Okay, so they were forced to leave. Everything that they do, nothing was right. So at some point, if I'm not getting it right, that means I can't be there. When am I gonna get it right?
What that does internally is probably really damaging. And that's the part that's really hard to reconcile. But I don't know, just do take each day as it comes.
And then they're still not leaving her alone, okay? They left, they're still not leaving them alone. So Harry left. So why is Harry's name on everything that they're doing? Okay? So Harry should not be part of any of the whatever plan that they're doing. They're making it a big deal, create a huge discussion about it should be whatever. So just leave his name out of it. Whatever the firm wants to do, just do it. Stop doing all this cheated title of all nonsense. Just do it.
She said she didn't know about Harry, she didn't know about anybody.
Yes.
So you can't then go into a company, whatever sort of company you're going to, and expect to go in at the top.
That's the problem. They're upset because Meghan went straight to the top. But Meghan was there to love Harry. Okay? As being part of Harry, guess what? She does some of the work. She's been doing it. And this is what Harry thought. Harry thought Meghan was part of the team and should do another extent of the family.
But now that it is all official, Prince Harry, do you have that sense that the combination of the two of you, your different backgrounds, that you together represent something new for the royal family?
I don't know if it's something new. I think it's for me, it's an added member of the family. It's another team player as part of the bigger team. And you know, for all of us, all we want to do is be able to carry out the right engagements, carry out our work, and try and encourage others and the younger generation to be able to see the world in the correct sense, rather than perhaps having a distorted view.
Harry thought Meghan was part of the team.
I know the fact that she'll be really unbelievably good at the job part of it as well is obviously a huge relief to me, because she'll be able to deal with everything else that comes with it. But no, you know, we're a fantastic team. We know we are, and
and we hope to, over time, try and have as much impact for all the things that we care about as much as possible.
I am very excited about that, yeah.
Harry thought Meghan was part of the team.
Really exciting as we talk about the transition of this out of my career but into the role is that, as you said, the causes that have been very important to me I can focus even more energy on, because very early out of the gate I think you realize once you have access or a voice that people are willing to listen to, with that comes a lot of responsibility, which I take seriously. And at the same time, I think in these beginning few months and now being boots on the ground in the UK, I'm excited to just really get to know more about the different communities here, smaller organizations who are working on the same causes that I've always been passionate about under this umbrella. And also being able to go around to the Commonwealth. I think it's just the beginning of a...
There's a lot to do.
Really?
There's a lot to do.
Harry thought Meghan was part of the team.
And it's an immense change. You're getting a new country out of it, a husband obviously, but also giving up your
nice.
career.
Yes, that's nice. Yes. But I don't see it as giving anything up. I just see it as a change.
It's a new challenge. It's a new
chapter, right?
Harry thought Meghan was part of the team.
Do you have that sense of responsibility, Prince Harry, for what you're asking Meghan to do?
Of course, that sense of responsibility was essentially from day one, or maybe a couple of months in, when I suddenly realised actually this is, I know that I'm in love with this girl, and I hope that she's in love with me. But we still had to sit down on the sofa, and I still had to have some pretty, frank conversations with her to say, look, what you're letting yourself in for is, it's a big deal, and it's, it's not, it's not easy for anybody. But I know that, at the end of the day, she chooses me, and I choose her, and therefore, whatever we have to tackle together or individually will always be us together as a team. So, I think she's capable
So
of.
nicely said, isn't it?
I don't know. She's capable of anything, and together, as I said, there's a hell of a lot of stuff and work that needs doing. At the moment, for us, it's going to be making sure that our relationship is always put first.
If they had laid out everything plain and simple for Meghan, she would have understood. They never did. They never considered her part of the family. They never considered her part of the firm. Meanwhile, Meghan thought she was, and Harry thought she was as well. Because this is why Harry brought Meghan, he felt like, oh, I'm into charity, I'm doing all of this. Hey, this is someone who's doing the same thing. It will not be an extra out of their way kind of thing to do the same thing. So both of them thought they were on the same page, but the firm did not. Harry told them everything that we needed to know from the engagement. I knew the firm, the institution exists, but I didn't know they were all of this nonsense. I'm pretty sure Meghan didn't know all of this nonsense that they do. Now I do. Wow. The problem that they have is the last word that she said, being at the top. This is the problem. Okay? Let me move it back slightly. Like about here. The problem is because Meghan, in terms of classism, Meghan is right there. Okay? Skip everybody else. This is the problem. That's the problem.
So you can't then go into a company, whatever sort of company you're going to, and expect to go in at the top. That's nonsense.
Okay.
What happened with Meghan and Harry was dealt with atrociously. It was bad management from start to finish.
From the start. That's right. From the start. And Meghan, guess what? Meghan wasn't there to be freaking go straight at the top of the freaking company. Her main thing, her number one thing, was to love Harry. That was the thing for Harry and Meghan. Okay? Love. From the beginning.
And together, as I said, there's a hell of a lot of stuff and work that needs doing. At the moment, for us, it's going to be making sure that our relationship is always put first. But
and then as a extra, she does the same thing. The charitable work, that was extra, but none of them get that.
What's happening now is that King Charles has told us, I'm leaving the door open for you, Harry. I'm leaving the door open for you, Meghan. So don't exclude them.
There's a very big difference between loving your son as a father, but not liking what he's doing. That's happened so many times, and I think...
how many parents will be so proud of what Harry has accomplished. How many parents will be so proud? This is a selfishness that's talking over there, where they want to do stupid thing, okay, carrying bags of money, do unethical things, and then be praised for it. Meanwhile, Harry said, I'm not about that. Okay, when someone is born, they have a life of their own. Okay, the unethical things, Harry knows what goes behind the closed doors, okay, behind the palace wall. Unethical thing, and he also knows what's going on in the real world, and he sees the two different things is not good. Okay, so that's another thing.
But not liking what he's doing. You know, that's happened so many times, and I think that's what it is. He loves Harry because he was always very close to Harry.
Please, from the day that kid was born, Charles had a different perspective of Harry, okay? From the hair color to everything.
And how he's behaved,
how?
His aggression and rubbishing the family during that opera interview when his...
Well, guess what? During the Oprah interview, if your mouth will shut, leave them alone, they will not have to debunk none of the nonsense, part of the nonsense you've been saying. That's why the Oprah interview was necessary, because you guys paint a picture, okay, for the world to see when it's not the way it is. So they had to make those things clear. This is why Oprah interview was necessary for everybody else.
Grandfather was dying, and the Queen must have been so stressed, and in her 90s. I mean, that's unforgivable.
Well, remember, not too long ago, over the summer, Harry stopped over there before he went to the Netherlands. Nobody knew.
How did it feel being back? Being with her.
Being with her, it was great. It was just so nice to see her. You know, she's on great form. She's always got a great sense of humour with me, and I'm just making sure that she's, you know, protected and got the right people around.
Well, you had a good time. They talk. So how come? Well, this is the thing when staying quiet and don't say anything, because in the background, as a grandmother, okay, not as the Queen, as a grandmother, Harry had good relationship with the Queen. Okay, so it's not for any of us to say. If she decided to shut her mouth, not to give her perspective of her experience with Harry, that's her problem. But at least Meghan and Harry have told us they have good relationship with her. So I'd rather take their words than you.
When his grandfather was dying, and the Queen must have been so stressed, and in her 90s. I mean, that's unforgivable in a way, but it's not. They won't come and then step in line. They don't want to be number 6, and now they're number 5. Oh, good, not very far to go to take over. I think they want to do a woke alternative royal family.
What the hell? How the hell these people can speak for Harry and Meghan like this? Oh my God. Okay, let me leave this deranged thing so long. There's no comment. Let me move on. Wow, these people are really delusional. Harry is doing his own thing. Never talk about the firm, but yet there they are. The only thing the Oprah interview was to make clear of all those negative headlines about them. That's the only thing I get from the Oprah thing. Next week. And then with all the rest of the royal family, okay, in the UK, but it seems like Harry is the only one that can take care of a 90-year-old, you know, who has lived their lives and everything like that. But then again, I have a different perspective of how the Queen passed anyway, and I wasn't there. Next week.